Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast. Yo, let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world. Welcome on in once again to the Sports Buffoon Studios here, sitting here in the end of June, hot as hell in Kansas City, 98 degrees, Tanner's favorite band. What a time it is to be a Leaf out
Backstreet
here.
was better, actually.
What?
Backstreet was better.
Backstreet was okay.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of figured, but I kind of figured you'd be like a 98 degrees type of guy, personally.
I never really got into their music, honestly. I really
No?
did. I had a few songs, the popular ones, but outside of that, they were I never got into their albums.
All right. Well, that's all right, man. We got some better things to talk about anyway today. So we got Scott Kobe's already chiming in. So good to see Scott involved. Jason JG to my left.
God.
How you doing, man?
Rush Royals for us.
I don't really care about 98 degrees, man. I think they they probably sucked a lot of cock back in the day, but
Wow.
you know, I'm a big. Wasn't Justin Timberlake? Was he in that?
No, not that band.
No, he wasn't. He was in a different.
That would be
so,
in sync.
No, so that means 98 degrees was a bunch of wannabes.
That was
basically,
Nick
so.
Nick
No.
Lachey. Nick Lachey.
Oh, gee.
Nick Lachey.
He
Wow.
dated Jessica Simpson.
Want to talk about has-beens? I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, I'm surprised you would say such a thing.
The bottom
considering
line
it's
is
June.
the bottom line. I'm not a big fan of this weather, especially in the Midwest, because it's just too humid for me. So
Yeah.
it was hot as hell.
Yeah, so-
I had a sweaty cock today, as a matter of fact. So it actually
I'd
kind of pissed
imagine.
me off. I had to wipe my balls off a couple of times, take a shower. I actually took 2 showers today. How many guys? You guys like take 2 showers a day when it's fucking hot?
Are you washing your towels then like twice as fast?
Oh boy. Well, the towel's still
well,
wet
I'm
from the
not
first
talking-
time,
no,
Tanner.
we're
It
not
was a
going
time to
to.
dry off.
You need to
Mr.
get
AC.
you need to get over that,
JG
man.
coming in hot.
You need to get it. You need to get over that.
Come
We're
on,
not going
JG.
through
How
that
dare you
discussion.
say that? at 98
Now, I'm a little
degrees?
jealous of you, though, when it comes to our workplace, because I have to wear pants. You can wear shorts all day. So all of my sweat just stays within these jeans, and it is not a good time. It is rough, actually. So
I
I'm a little
wish
jealous of that.
I wish I could have been in one of these parades where you just go out there in your underwear and show your balls to everybody, man.
That's
I
true.
heard about. I don't even know if that's real, man. Did that really happen, or is that
It's-
just like a conspiracy theory?
Well, we had this past weekend. It was the pride parades across the whole nation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wish I could do that, because then if it was hot outside, well, your balls, they're free. They're
Right.
free to just do whatever they want.
I saw
you
a few guys doing that recently.
know? I wish
so,
I could do that.
that'd be nice. You're not
Probably
too hot
not gonna
out there,
happen,
so well, there's children out there, so of course you wouldn't do that, but some people would be into that. So, anyways,
No,
we'll
we're
save
not
that
gonna
for
do
a different day, guys. We're gonna talk some sports for a few minutes at least today. So
Just a little bit. Right?
just a little bit right now. Now, for the record, guys, I do have a game on in the background. I'm watching some Reds and Orioles. So if you see me randomly get happy or sad, that's why it is. It's not some kind of a disorder I have. It's,
Into the
it's
seventh,
the
baby.
fact I have a lot of money today that I've put out across the lines, and I'm
It's
hoping
not
for
a,
some
it's
returns.
not a gambling disorder. He has a problem with winning. He wins
Well,
too much.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that I need to win more and more and more. So, anyways, that's what's going on in the
what we're gonna
background
call
for you
it.
guys.
That's what we're gonna call it.
But no, we have some good things to talk about, of course, today. So we have some interesting things as well. Now, those of you out there, we are going to be discussing here in a little bit about some of the rule changes in the NFL coming this season in 2023. I did, Scott. I did not bet on the
He
Orioles.
bet on the Reds.
I bet on the Reds. So for that record right there, let's go ahead and say that right now I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. But anyways, we're gonna talk some NFL a little bit. We're in this part of the year, of course, you guys, where it's rough to be a sports fan, because we just watched the NHL draft. We watched the first round anyways. And the NBA's over, football's not going on yet. Baseball's about to come up on the All-Star break. I mean, there's just a lot of lackluster events going on right now in the sports world. It's hard to get excited about. And so what I found myself doing last night, as a matter of fact, was I was rewatching the Chiefs versus Chargers from 2005. And I like to go back in nostalgia. I like to think about, some of these old games maybe I went to in the past, never actually get to watch live on TV because I was at the game, or just to watch, Trent Green, Larry Johnson, Eddie Kennison on defense. I got to see some Jared Allen and Eric Hicks and Lionel Dalton, and just just a bunch of guys that you haven't heard their names in a long time, and this kind of got me thinking a little bit about what are some moments this time of year you think about, and you miss the experience in the moment of what that was like. Do you guys have one that comes to mind of what you were feeling? Because you can even say the Royals during the World Series,
I mean,
something like that.
The Jayhawks game in 03, the championship game in 03 would be one.
1-03. Well, that was their first in how long?
What was it? 10, 12 years?
So
Something in that
it'd been a while before.
But I mean, the shot, right? The shot, that was such a miracle moment. I remember I had at the time digital cameras were very small.
Wait, did you just say 2003?
Did I say 03?
He did say
Yeah.
03. You mean,
Did
did you mean
08?
08? I was kind of concerned about that when you said it, but I'm not a
03.
Jayhawk
No.
fan, so I was going to let him roll with
the
this.
whole reason why I go with 03 is because that's the first time I actually watched a championship game of the Jayhawks. And that's when we lost to Memphis there. And I had my little digital camera pen I was recording it with at the time, blasting 480p at the time, high def right then. But I remember just sitting there watching it, recording it, and just messing around with that. And then in 08 again, graduation year for me, in yourself, I believe.
Yeah.
So, we went out there as well. So, I mean, it was those two games give me more memories than the last year, right? Or I guess 2 years ago now.
2 years ago?
Two seasons ago.
For KU, you mean?
For KU.
Well, do you think it's because it was like your first, in your youth, your first experience getting to watch your favorite team win a championship?
Understanding it, I think, more too. Like having that understanding of where we're at and how hard it was to go there in 03 and 08. So that's kind of those are two of my things I remember. I like to go look back on.
Interesting. So now you being a Spurs fan, Jason, I'm assuming it's going to be something to do with them, but maybe it's something else. What comes to mind when you think about nostalgia and things you miss the experience of in the moment of whenever you felt them in sports?
I'm really glad that he brought up 2003 because that basically gave me my answer. When I drove down, like David Robinson was my favorite player growing up since I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. I wanted to go see David Robinson win a championship, and they had already won in 1999, but I couldn't go. And then in 2003 I decided I'm going to go to this fucking game, and they ended up winning it in 6, and I was able to go to a game 6, and they were able to close it out. But I remember playing, I paid like $175, which today that's not a whole lot of money, but it got me in the door back then. And I like to compare that to when we went to Royals in 2015 when they won their championship.
Yeah.
It was like night and day, man, because you've got so much fewer people. I think the arena back then in 03, it only seated like 18,000 people, and they just fucking went berserk. And it was actually David Robinson's last game of his career. He's one of the few all-time great players that actually hung it up after winning a championship, because like we know, like guys like Tom Brady, the GOAT, he couldn't hang it up. He had to come back, and eventually they lose. But that was the most special moment for me, was just being able to go and watch the Spurs win a championship. And at that point, I think it was their second in 4 years or something like that. So it was pretty awesome, man.
Nice. I know for me, as much of a Chiefs fan as I am, and you guys know how much I love the Chiefs, I still think back to the Royals World Series runs, and I think back to the fact that it was an everyday event. It was an every night event. You got off work, and the first thing you were thinking about for that evening was watching that Royals game, the playoff experience, and everything that built up to it. Because if you guys remember early on in that season in 2015, there was a lot of teams that were trying to punk out the Royals at the time.
Yep.
Everyone thought, coming off that 2014 World Series run, this team was frauds. They got lucky. And so you saw a lot of teams just coming at the Royals, starting fights, and the Royals would be the ones looking like the bad guys in the end, retaliating, trying to stand up for their guys along the way. I saw a highlight last night of Kelvin Herrera beaming Brett Laurie in the shoulder.
Brett Laurie.
And and we all know how much we hated Brett Laurie there in Kansas City. But I saw this highlight last night. The attitude that team had was so badass that it was like we weren't really there to start fights, but we were there to finish them, and we were going to finish them.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time. And it took about maybe 2 months into that season that the Royals finally everyone had calmed the fuck down because everyone realized, okay, these guys are for real. They're legit. We're going to stop messing with them. But that attitude carried over for the entire season going into the playoffs and carried them on, obviously, to then end up winning the World Series. I feel like that run, to me, on a day-to-day basis, of course, had more of an impact in my emotions than the Chiefs winning a singular Super Bowl. So, of course, I care more about the Chiefs, but, the Royal stuff was damn special.
That's why Giordano Ventura was my favorite player on those teams. I love because he was like a skinny guy like me, but he was ready to fight. He didn't give a shit. He wanted to fight anyone and everyone.
Oh, he had attitude.
He was my favorite player by far on those teams.
Which I would say he deserves to be in the Royals Hall of Fame, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So if he's not, I don't know if he is right now, but if he's not, he needs to be there. Because, that whole team was just badass. So, Twofold, good to see you again, my man.
Scott says the Red Sox in 2004 for him after the 86-year drought. Very emotional. I can imagine as a guy that's, in the senior home with Keith right now, according to Nick, having to wait that long for a championship.
Do you remember the bloody sock and coming back from down 0-3 against the Yankees and all the things that came along with that? That was badass time. I'll be honest, back in 2004, the Royals were shitty like usual, during this whole thing. And, the Red Sox were my second team. I was wanting them to win. I was excited when they won. They had Red Sox hats at Walmart in Kansas City. And yes, I bought myself one because as as a Royals fan, you kind of have to have a second team every once in a while. Because, it's hard to just literally root for the worst team.
Scott says he does. He does.
So, yeah, that's special stuff.
Bad New Yorker. Welcome on
this,
in, dude.
This is always the time of year anyways, you guys, that has me thinking back about, just me missing football. Can't wait for the season to come around here in a month. Training camp starts up. And just thinking about some of my favorite moments as a fan of sports in general during a time period like this where you're not focused in on the current. You're thinking more about, shit, man, all the things you've been through as a fan. And I can't wait to get more of it going because it is my absolute favorite ride in the world is being a sports fan.
Mike, I don't know if you want to hear this, but I got some good news for you. It is June 28th that we are recording this. And according to the dropped release here today, 7/18, that is less than a month away.
Yep.
Rookies report to training camp for
That's
the Kansas
right.
City Chiefs.
That's 3 weeks away, Tanner.
It is coming, baby.
I know.
Coming,
we're
7:20. The vets report.
What are you guys going to do to fill your time for the next 20 days, 21 days?
I got plans on the other shows that we
could,
talk about other stuff.
We didn't discuss what we're drinking, but I was going to say, you
shit face.
You might as well
talk about this.
It helps speed up the time a little bit, and you sleep in longer. Whatever's going to help us get us there faster is what my thing is. So,
well, I do have the.
embarrassing.
I've got the Cutwater White Russian, which it tastes good, but it's kind of weak sauce. It's only 14%. I was disappointed in that.
Damn. Yeah, you need a little higher BV. At least double it.
I need it better than
Get around 28. Then you're feeling good after that point. So, Tanner, what are you sipping on?
Some Waterloo sparkling water, strawberry flavor.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Beautiful, Tanner. I like
solid.
that, man. I got myself a little Coca-Cola Zero like last time. You guys remember?
With the Jack?
I've had that. Well, I don't know how much Jack's in there. I think it's just a label, like a marketing thing.
Oh, is that what
I don't think
is?
there's actually any Jack in this can. So
I'm pretty sure you gave me COVID last week because I drank. I took your can. You had already opened and I drank after you. And
I did have a lingering cough for like a month, and I think you ended up getting
I got
it from
COVID.
me, so. But that was also your own fault for stealing my drink.
No, I've been beating myself up for that. That was a bad decision.
Great balls.
Oh, we had a Facebook user. Kudos to Hochaver. Went to
That's, Mr. Carlos, Mad New Yorker.
Oh, Carlos out there. Okay, very nice. And then is that a Menard special? What's Tufel talking about?
I think it's I don't know. Tufel, are you talking about Jason's, mine, or Mike's? That's what I want to know.
Well, I'm getting excited now. My Reds are up 7-4 right now, so
come on,
feeling
Reds.
good on my bet. So
come on, Reds.
Feeling a little
do
better
something.
at the moment.
Do something in your life.
No, that's Sam's special right there. Sam's
Club. Sam's Club. Yeah. All right, Tanner. Well, let's discuss a few things. Obviously, number one thing I want to get to you guys is tomorrow night at 5:30 Central Time PM. We're going to be watching The Match. It is The Match. It is a golf Do you call it a tournament? Is this a tournament or is it just a what's the word for this? I'm not a golf guy normally.
How do we?
I mean, I'm going to watch tomorrow, but we have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson facing off against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
It's a cross sport exhibition.
Okay,
that's what it's technically called.
That's cool. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, obviously, you guys know. I think you and I both maybe agree that Patrick Mahomes is basically like the Steph Curry of the NFL in a lot of ways. And I think that Klay and Travis have a lot of similarities in their personality, maybe. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's golf at the end of the day. So some of you guys out there might love golf. I personally not a big golf guy. But either way, we're watching some damn good athletes go out there and play a different sport.
Go Brooke.
And I've heard Steph Curry is actually really damn good at golf. So the current odds are in favor of Team Warriors.
Do you want to know the handicaps going into play?
Oh, yes. He does want to know.
You do got the handicaps?
Well, I already know. I know the one that matters the most. So you can tell me.
Klay was a 12. Travis was an 11. Mahomes was a 7.7. And what was Steph? Because
I have no. He's the best. He's the best player.
What was Steph?
6.9.
What do you?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
That's nice. That's nice. What do you got?
I would guess like a
4.1. That's his handicap.
So so he doesn't have a fucking handicap.
He's stupid good, and this is a guy that plays with pros, essentially on his off season.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, the thing with Steph, his hand-eye coordination is off the charts. Like it's mutant type shit. So I guess whenever you think about what he'd be good at sports wise, I mean, it makes sense that he'd just be able to translate very well to golf. So,
oh yeah, he's one of those guys that you talk about athletes, like that's an athlete.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Patrick is really good too at a lot of sports. I mean, Patrick obviously he was drafted to the MLB. He's played a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
He's just a sports guy, and he also likes to go golfing in his free time too. I don't think Travis is a big golfer personally. From what I understand, that's not really his thing. But I mean, maybe if something can fall his way and we surprises us, maybe. I mean, do they have a chance honestly against Steph and Klay?
If Klay decides to just crap out,
so it's up to Klay.
I think it's gonna come down to the performance of Klay and Travis.
But it's not a scramble though, right? It's not like a scramble where it's just like you take the best ball, like they're actually playing against each other.
I'm pretty sure they're playing against each other 2-on-2. I'm looking it up too. It's like with the Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
Because if it was a scramble, that's a different story. I mean, you might as well just fucking give them the win right now for the Warriors. But it's
a 12-hole scramble.
Oh, 12.
It is a scramble.
This year's event features 12.
Oh well, fuck. That's not even. There's no point in even watching that shit. You already know who's.
Well, I'm gonna watch it because I gotta see my boy Patch on TV.
I wish they wouldn't have done a scramble because I think Klay would have shit the bed. He probably will shit the bed because they don't even know if he's going to be on the team next year. They're probably going to trade his ass. So I think he's probably getting nervous on the fact that he doesn't even know he's going to be on that team this year. So, I mean, if that's the case, I wish but if it's a scramble, I mean, what's the fucking point? I mean, the Warriors are going to win. So,
and what's fun about it though is you can go and bet on DraftKings if you want. So
I'll bet you can.
You could if you feel.
You know
lucky.
what, Mike? I'm surprised that
Tell me more, Mike.
That you of all people would have brought that up. I'm surprised by that.
Well, as of right now, my Reds are winning 7-4. So as of right now, I'm feeling good and cocky.
Don't get cocky.
Maybe I go all in.
The worst thing you can do in gambling is get cocky. You know that's a fact.
All right. Anyways, you guys be watching. I know Jason earlier told me he might or might not. I'll be watching because why would I not watch Patrick Mahomes in June? Because this time of year is when I get excited. I want to start watching my guy.
The most important thing is that I don't have to watch the match where Josh Allen is playing in it.
That's true.
Because I mean that was just bullshit. I couldn't believe we had to sit there and watch that shit last time around.
Well, by the way, Charles Barkley is commentating once again.
Ooh,
well, that's good.
I like that.
So this is gonna be funny.
Yeah,
but
I definitely want.
This time, Josh Allen doesn't have to cost Patrick Mahomes a win.
No,
unlike Travis Kelce, that probably cost Patrick Mahomes a win this time.
Josh Allen needs to be practicing his non-fumbling skills instead of playing golf right about now.
Yeah, that reminds me. We're going to talk a little Josh Allen here in a minute, but yeah, Scott says he took Curry and Klay. Probably a good choice. That's who the favorites are. So I would probably agree with that. Honestly, if I was really trying to put my money on something, I'd probably go that route. Yeah. But Otherwise, I don't know who else would be good in this kind of thing. Who else would be good in a style like a golf match like this? One on, because obviously Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady,
Are we
Josh
talking,
Allen,
like,
Patrick
active
Mahomes.
guys?
Yeah, guys
Okay.
that are currently playing right
Active.
now. Who else would be good in a situation like this? I mean, this is obviously meant for TV. It's kind of like, Elon Musk and Mr. Facebook are going to start getting in a fight at some point, right?
So
I mean, it's all you could bet on it, but
The
it's all
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are going
Elon
to fight.
Musk, yeah.
Well, it's all meant for TV ratings and such. I mean, both those guys. I mean, I would watch it. I mean, I think it'd be the greatest thing of all time.
I do.
So I want to see LeBron in there, but the problem with putting LeBron in there is that he doesn't even have the courage to even be in a slam dunk contest. So if he's not going to do a slam dunk contest, why in the fuck would he have the balls to be in a golf match? But that's who people would want to see. And that would make a shitload of money too. Could you imagine that if they could just do like put LeBron on one side and Jordan on the other side and nobody cares who the other two fucking players are. Just throw a couple guys out there and
AD.
see what the fuck happens. Yeah, nobody gives a shit. But if you could have Jordan versus LeBron in a fucking golf match, I mean, shit. But we all know that Jordan was pretty good back in the day at golf. Like when he was in his
played all the
prime,
time.
he was a great
He
fucking
played all the
golfer.
time.
Not as good as Steph. Not as good as Steph, but he was a good golfer.
I saw him on Space Jam golfing, man. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah.
I think he still golfs today. Obviously.
Well, he would destroy
So,
LeBron in much the
like, he
same way
plays
that
all
he
the time.
destroyed him in terms of the GOAT conversation. Not even fucking close, man. I'm sick of this shit.
Aaron Rodgers says, Scott. Yeah, we've seen that already. I think Aaron is a good pick there. But what about another position other than quarterback? What do you guys think?
No, I'd probably go with wide receivers or corners.
Because I was thinking I'd like to see like an AJ Brown in this.
Yeah, AJ Brown
Just to
might be
see,
all right.
some dominant guy.
I feel like he's retired now, but I feel like Larry Fitzgerald would be good at golf.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got calm demeanor about him.
Living in Arizona,
I think
like
that-
you always want him to go.
I
play
think it would make
golf.
sense for him to be good at golf. Otherwise, right now, it's a tough call.
It
I'd
is.
have to go with Tim Tebow. I feel like he'd be a good golfer.
Well, he's a tight end,
Yeah.
so he's not a quarterback or receiver.
No,
but-
I'm just saying. I think he'd be good. Throw his ass. You know what? What do they want more than anything? They want ratings.
Mhm.
And how could you get? You couldn't get any more ratings than throwing fucking Tim Tebow in there.
No, yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. That'd be fun. I mean, honestly, ESPN kind of ruined Tim Tebow in a lot of ways, just from following him around all day. Made it to
They
no
did.
one enjoyed seeing him anymore. Scott subs Jerry Rice against Bill Belichick. I feel like Jerry would win that at this point. I think
He would.
Bill's just a little too old for that kind of thing. But
Way too old.
Speaking of that, I would take a coach's
How
golf
about
challenge.
Joe Judge versus Matt Patricia? That'd be a good one. They're both shitty coaches, but maybe they would be equally shitty golfers.
McDaniels versus Shanahan. That'd be fun.
Man. Oh, Shanahan would win that shit. You kidding me?
I don't know.
McDaniel sucks.
McDaniels
Yeah,
looks
he
like
does. He looks like he
sorry, not
sucks.
McDaniels. The Miami coach.
Okay. I know. Okay.
I'd still go with Shanahan. I'd go with Shanahan, I think.
Yeah. The Miami coach is
I
getting
don't want
high.
Raiders.
Yeah, he's too high for that stuff. So yeah, Shanahan would probably take that one. All right, guys. Let's. I'm curious what some of the people think about this. So Tanner brought it to my attention actually earlier today about some of the rule changes that are going on in the NFL this year. One of them in particular had me. I was in the middle of driving. Never text and drive, but one of the videos he sent me. Oh shit! God, are you kidding me? You bastard!
So he just
Are
hit
you-
a bomb.
Are you kidding me?
Somebody hit a bomb. Now, are we still winning, or what's the score?
No, it's tie game,
Tied
7-7. 7-7.
Nick Sirianni.
You got to be kidding me.
I don't want to see
You got to
that.
be freaking kidding me. That's
Wow.
just stupid. That was a bunch of trash.
This game's rigged, man.
Well, it's not rigged. It's just a bunch of idiots out there throwing.
Get sick
Well,
and tired
They've
of
gone
these
through their
fucking...
whole relief pitching staff.
Are you not tired of these umpires fixing games? I'm so
warned
sick
you
of this
guys.
shit.
All
I
right, let
warned
me
you.
try to get through this topics without
Oh my
yelling.
gosh.
There was 2 outs even.
I
They left
warned you.
three runs and 2 outs remaining.
Deeper they go, the worse it gets.
Well, they are getting cocky, Mike. The Orioles are getting cocky, so that's the
it's
only
almost
thing
the
you have
9th
to look
inning,
forward
so
to,
we'll see what happens, I guess. But, anyways, so Tanner sent me a video. Just kind of run down real quick of all of the new rules for the NFL this year. like the jersey number change and some other things. But one in particular caught my eye because I thought it sounded asinine. Just the fact that you're not able to any longer hand off in front of your body as the quarterback, basically.
You want me to read the rule?
Yeah, go ahead. Explain more, Tanner.
So the rule change, and I'm on CBS Sports for this. The rule change. So they will blah 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 blah. There it is. To make handing the football forward a penalty like an illegal forward pass proposed by a competition committee. So the rule changes. This will change to penalize teams handing off the football forward on a read option, for example, or any other running play. A penalty hands-off will have to be made next or behind the quarterback, not in front of. So you can't hand it off in front like a jet sweeps are normally done. You can't do like the whole like where Patrick Mahomes would just kind of drop it and Miko would take it and run over. Can't do that. But you can still be to the side or behind, but you can't like it. That eliminates.
Well,
that. So what's your thoughts?
So basically, this to me changes things for just a couple different teams. It changes things for in a lot of ways what Cam Newton used to do with the Panthers, but also with the Ravens in particular right now. Lamar Jackson and the way that they run the read option over there, and maybe this is why they've spoken out recently about the fact that he's going to be running less. But the read option in Baltimore is very much it's a hold. It's basically, you take the snap and you're holding it as long as possible before you got to make a choice. And you're actually moving with the line, moving with the running back as they're moving while you're holding the ball. By this time, the running back's in front of your body and you're handing it off at that point. So at first I thought, Tanner, this was only going to be applying towards, plays in front of the line of scrimmage. But the way I understand it is, even if it's in the backfield, that it still applies there. It would be considered. It'd be considered an illegal forward handoff.
Correct.
So basically, they have to. This is kind of stupid, but they have to have air in between the throw or the handoff from the quarterback to whatever receiver is coming across. So there's got to be like some kind of basically the quick pitch out. Whatever it is, has to have some kind of air between the quarterback handing the ball off to the running back.
I feel like there has to be more of some kind of attempted throwing motion is what it's going to be.
Well, maybe, but I also think that on like the jet sweeps, we've seen it a lot where these do that quick pitch, and I think that's still going to be fine. That's not going to be an issue. I think the issue is literally whenever we've seen guys run across and you're handing it out in front of your body, which technically, the way the league is seeing it right now, would be a forward pass motion, and they're getting rid of that to where you have to be literally having a lateral movement when handing off the ball. But I think a lot of teams have exploited this over the last few years, and
the
Ravens in particular are one that stand out to me. And just because I've seen Lamar do it 100 times, I think that I'll be interested to see, how things work out with RPOs down the road too. Because with RPOs, you see a lot of, you take the snap as a quarterback, you're literally reaching out forward to hand the ball off to the running back while reading the defense to decide whether you're going to keep, throw, or hand the ball off, depending on the way you read. And so it's going to change the game a little bit, but I think teams will find ways around it. But to me, I also wonder, what's the point? Is it because teams were taking it too far? Is it because teams were truly finding a way to exploit some loose definitions in the rule book, or what? Because I've thought about this too personally in the past about how somehow this is not a forward pass or not a, you should be handing it off either laterally or, directly to your side, according to the rules. And that looks like that's what they're trying to get back to. So I don't know what you guys think about this. If it matters to you, it probably doesn't for the most part, but I think it changes the way some teams will play, and you're removing certain plays from the rule book or from the, game plan that some teams were really good at in the past.
I think it's just a minor tweak. It doesn't really move the needle for me at all. I mean, I think the teams that this would affect are going to be able to make the adjustment and just not run plays like that. So I think it's, for me, it's just kind of a useless rule, I guess you would say, which is, we talk about the NFL, they have a lot of useless rules. I mean, there are ways that you can make the game better, and there are also ways that you can nitpick And they do the same shit in the fucking NBA. It fucking pisses me off. But this rule in particular just doesn't really move the needle for me. I think the teams will make the proper adjustments, and it's not going to really affect much.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how teams adjust over time. I mean, it's like I said, the main thing when I first read the rule, how they're trying to implement it now is that I wasn't so worried about the read option aspect as much as the RPOs and the way those are orchestrated. Because obviously it's making your decision making, which is already has to be within like 1 second, an even more difficult situation. So to me, it's going to basically get you back to a traditional read option and a traditional type of RPO where the running back's no longer crossing your face. He has to be literally beside you or handing it off. Like we've seen before, some teams like to run this RPO that's actually a stretch from a single back formation, where basically you're running a stretch. What ends up happening is backside, the receiver on the backside is running a slant, and you hit him on the slant in the backside. So, that way the ball, if you were to hand it off, it's coming from the back end. The guy is not going to be out in front of your body. So it's going to end up being a penalty, basically. That's what's going to happen if this is caught or occurred. Also, if you're a quarterback getting sacked, you can no longer just hand the ball to the nearest other offensive player, like a lineman, and allow him to pick up yards. That would also be illegal.
And just so you guys know, there's it does lead to a loss of down at the spot of the foul.
Lost it down the spot of the foul.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Scott here. He thinks that the rule will see a tweak in a lot of formations. Absolutely. And it's going to be very subtle. But yeah, you're no longer going to see, and I wish we had a screenshot right now, but I kind of showed Tanner an example of a Madden play where the running back is actually crossing in front of the quarterback's face as part of an RPO. And those things are going to be out now. Because you can no longer hand off in front of your body. I don't know. I mean, I've seen this over the years kind of evolve to where it seems kind of like a silly thing, but now I'm not sure what to think. And hey, the Reds have a guy in third and first, no outs,
baby,
no outs. All right. As I'm sitting here trying to discuss something serious, I got in the background some good things going on for me. So.
Hey, money talks. We got to change topics here.
That's true.
Money talks.
Wait, do you have a money talk topic?
A money topic?
Actually, no. I did want Tanner to kind of go over the other rules that are changing.
Let's go over the rules.
So there's another rule I thought was pretty interesting on this one here. So to prevent the offense from benefiting with an extra play at the end of half because of an offensive penalty proposed by the competition committee. So, for example, if the offense commits a holding penalty, that will no longer lead to an untimed additional down. So essentially, towards the end of the half, you're not getting that untimed down. It's the clock runs. If it's out, you're done. See you later.
Damn. That's pretty harsh. No fooling around. Well, because I think some teams in the past have also used that to their advantage as well, as a way that they know the clock's going to stop.
The Ravens have been really known for that.
Well, the league's coming after Baltimore right now. So
hey, man,
I don't blame them, man. I gotta get those guys under control. So they're always trying to exploit the rules. But that sounds like a Harbaugh move, though, to me. So.
There was another one in here I was trying to find here. The tripping penalty.
Yes,
is
that's
now
what I was going to bring up.
Foul,
which that should have always been a personal foul, in my opinion.
It.
So I have no problem with that rule change. That makes the most sense to me.
But is there a way though that they can like manipulate that? Because I feel like a lot of times if you can call a tripping foul when it's not really, like if it's inadvertent.
Yeah, well, I think this should be blatant. You know what I mean? Like
it should be.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be obvious.
But what if it's not though? What if you just trip somebody and it's inadvertent and they still call a personal foul? Like I feel like it's kind of a wishy-washy.
I hope not, because that's where the subjectiveness of the games come down, and that's what one of the rules that they disagreed on during this meeting was the ability to challenge roughing the passer, which was something that actually a lot of people wanted to see happen, and the league shut it down. So, I guess the vote shut it down to where you are not able to challenge roughing the passer still. And I just think really with the way referees are anymore, that should be something that's challengeable. But I'm just afraid that they feel like it's not going to be feasible, and it's also going to make them look really bad too at the same time. So I don't see that one going on very well. What else was there?
There's the fourth down. A failed fourth down attempt gets booth review treatment. So just like a turnover or a touchdown or score.
Automatic review.
Automatic review
Mhm.
on the failed 4th down attempt. And
So
that
on
was
the failed
proposed to you. I
attempt.
believe that's proposed by Philadelphia.
I'm
If I
okay
remember
with
right.
that.
Failed. So does this
I'd be
have to
okay
do
with
with
that.
like quarterback sneaks, ball placement, stuff like that? I would say
Yeah,
It's-
correct.
is the point.
I don't have a problem with it because it's no different than a goal line review. You just want to get it right. And if there's no evidence, then we move on. So I have no problem with that one.
No, yeah, I think that's a fine one too. I have no problem with that
I mean,
one.
the other one that a lot of people are happy about, you can use 0 now as your number.
Oh, by the way, I do want to
Yes.
bring that up.
Yes.
So yes.
So I told
That's very
Jason
important.
earlier. So we did have our very first player, stand up and say, "I want number 0." That was Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley will be the first number 0 in the NFL, according to his own Twitter. But what made me think about this with Calvin Ridley, with all his sports betting and all that, but he's a gambling man. Made me think, whenever he's playing some roulette, is he a 0 bettor? Is he one of those guys that puts all his money on 0 and roulette? Maybe that's why he won 0 so bad. It reminds me of his old gambling days.
I'm a fan of allowing the number 0 because the first 2 players that came to my mind were in the NBA, Russell Westbrook, and more importantly, Agent 0, the guy who brought certain things to the locker room that maybe should or should not have been brought to the locker room, but he was a guy in the NBA that could put up 50 points in a fucking game. So he was a big cock back in the day. So that's the first 2 guys that came to my mind. And so I'm glad you're going to allow that number 0 now in the NFL.
Right. Here's an interesting one. Something we, might see sometime here with all the as deep as the AFC is, to insert strength of victory as the second tiebreaker for awarding contracts proposed by the competition committee. So the rule changes. This will allow teams for strength of victory to be the second tiebreaker for postseason seedings after the head-to-head tiebreaker. So the second tiebreaker was previously conference record. It appears the league had a typo in the press release they sent out regarding the rule. Wow. So you can use.
So it's point spread, basically.
Basically, now it's point spread. So after the head-to-head, now it's point spread for your postseason seeding. If you're up against a team.
That is interesting. Which should also make you think, some of the coaches who like to lay off later in games need to keep the pedal to the metal, baby. We got to be all Bill Belichick in here and, run up the score every chance you get. And so, yeah, that's what I think of when I think about something like that, is that if point differential is now something that matters, is that right? Point differential?
Yes.
If that's what matters, so the old days of, taking it easy on somebody in the 4th quarter, just go out the window. No, we're here to run up the score.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like it is because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's because it's only the second factor in a tiebreaker, and you should be, I don't care what sport you're in, you should always be playing to win the game rather than to not lose. And that's what pisses me off in sports, when you got all these teams or players that are playing the game to not lose. No, fuck that. You should be playing to win and just beat them by as many points as possible. So I actually like that rule.
Here's another one. So this was proposed by the Los Angeles Chargers to provide greater clarity as to players' availability for a game proposed by LA Chargers, which is, as fantasy football guys, I kind of like this. Rule change. Last season, the Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins played 1 snap against the Cleveland Browns in Week 14 after tweaking his hamstring in pre-game warmups. Yet Cincinnati removed Higgins from the injury report prior to the game, making it seem like he was going to play. Bengals head coach Zach Taylor said Higgins found his way onto the field, but that he had no intention of playing him. This change is likely aimed to prevent this type of situation from occurring.
Oh, all right. Say the original rule again. So I understand the example.
To provide greater clarity as to a player's availability for a game.
It's
greater clarity.
It's stupid.
Well,
that's a dumb fucking rule.
They want to know
the best team should be able to win, and that includes coaches.
Correct.
What I don't care whether they announce a player is available or not available. If you're a good coach,
be able to adjust
in the NFL, it does not matter which players are available. So if you're going to depend on that shit, then you're a shitty fucking coach, and you need to improve your game.
Well, surprised it's by the Chargers, right?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if he only played one snap. I don't give a shit. Like that. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah, as a fantasy football guy, then you know what's going to happen at least. So or at least a better idea of your
for
guy.
fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
But
But
as a NFL,
For fantasy,
also-
sure.
your adjustments must be shit.
sure, if you're T Higgins, if you see T Higgins is questionable, all of a sudden he's running out there for the first snap. I mean, I probably would have, not played him, assuming he was too injured to go. I mean, if he ran out there without,
But-
so the coach is saying he ran out there.
The coach said he found a way out. Zach said he found a
way onto the field
for one snap.
because I'm such an incompetent coach. I can't corral my players and tell them who's going to be on the goddamn starting offense to begin the game. That is bullshit.
It's a dumb rule.
All right, I got one last one, guys, that I think is eligible for this conversation. So, to allow roughing the passer to be a reviewable call proposed by the Los Angeles Rams. So, the rule changes last season. Referees appeared to call roughing the passer penalties on some plays that appeared to be a normal quarterback hits or sacks. For example, Grady Jarrett's roughing the passer penalty on Tom Brady. Atlanta needed one last shot for the ball back with under 2 minutes remaining in one possession game. Didn't get that. So that's what they're doing now. Roughing passers to be reviewable calls.
See, I thought that was denied. I thought that was.
Oh, my bad. I misread the headline. So that wasn't approved. But why would we not approve that?
Well, that's what we talked about, Tanner, was that, I mean, there's some people just disagreed with it.
Yeah.
They would not be reviewable. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things here. They're afraid it's going to hold up the game. I think in a lot of ways, they're afraid that so many goddamn times when you're going to throw a flag for roughing the passer, it's going to be holding up the game every single time
Speed of the
to
game.
being reviewed and stuff like that. And I think
they're
worried about that.
That
a
also
lot.
makes sense, though.
That's one of those things where if you're going to review that, then let's just fucking review everything, the whole game, all game long. Let's just make it a 6-hour game. You review every fucking play.
We talked about pass interference too.
And but I mean, they're trying to protect the quarterback and all this shit. Like it's not that important to me, dude. Like,
But
let's
You gotta
let's
remember
move it
too,
along.
such as Atlanta, and I think the Chiefs felt it as well at some point. It does affect the game. It's a big penalty on the game. It's an automatic first down, and you don't get the chance to get that
Wow.
back. Essentially,
One way to fix that is to get better referees that know what the fuck they're doing.
That's true.
So
Well, we all
then we
know
don't have to worry about it as
if
much.
you see across sports, that's not happening. So
No, I
you
know that,
So
but I'm
it's
just
up to
saying
these rule changes that
that's a big part of the problem is the referees themselves. But the thing is, we've talked about pass interference being reviewable in
Correct.
the past, and
They took that away
that was also denied.
for a year. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they never used it. They never used it, and they're like, okay, never mind, we're going to do it. Well, same thing with roughing the passer is that some of these calls, like, they're going to leave some subjectivity. And apparently, if you're Chris Jones, if you say some words to Matt Ryan, then that's also going to be a penalty. So apparently, roughing the passer comes in many forms, whether you're touching or talking. So, we all have a very fragile soul as players in the NFL. So we got to take that into account, and especially in a year like 2022, 2023, where, we got to live in this kind of world where we can't be having that kind of banter back and forth between people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, it is what it is. I mean, it sucks, but it's also a way for for games to be
I mean,
adjusted if they want to, if they wish. by
that's the
officiating.
rule changes I saw. The only other one's no surprise. They already don't like it. If you leave both your feet, it's a 15-yard penalty. So
That's right. So the launching rule,
the launching rule is now a 15-yard penalty.
15-yarder, and it is if you leave both your feet or just
Both your feet.
or one. I thought it was like one
Wait,
or
wait.
two.
It is one. Actually, it is
I
one or
hate
two.
it.
One
I
or
hate
two.
that shit.
One or two.
So if
if
you
launch yourself at a guy with one or both feet
you-
off the ground,
If you have 1 foot, so how do you tackle?
That
How are you gonna tackle?
that for me, I'm pissed off at that because it redefines the game of football. Because why did we watch football for the last 40, 50 years? Because we love the hits. We love the hits.
Well,
We love to see elite hits. And if they're going to take that away, then what the fuck is the point of playing the game?
Well, my
like,
problem is you could call
I
anything
want the
launching.
launch.
You could call it
I want
anything.
the
Anything is
launch.
now is launching though. If you can have, so basically, if you leave both feet or 1 foot in the air while you make a tackle, that is now considered possibly to be a launch based on the subjectivity of some little dumbass referee.
So this is the definition of pussifying a sport.
Right.
That's
But
exactly what they did.
Here's what I'm hoping. I don't know.
Don't
if you,
use your athleticism. Don't use your athleticism.
I do want to have a comparison for the other side here for a minute, and hoping this is the way it goes. It was not that long ago. It was less than 10 years ago where they made the rule of running backs can no longer lead with the crown of their helmet to try to basically, bulldoze a defender. You know what I'm talking about, Tanner?
Mhm.
Basically, if you're running back, a ball carrier,
If your
and you go to
helmet goes down,
same as defenders, if you go to tackle with the crown of your helmet, that's also a penalty. Same with running backs. So they tried to implement that rule too. The problem was they were never able to actually implement it. They were never actually able to implement the rule to where it made sense and to where it was a realistic thing to be calling in the middle of a game of, hey, running back, you lowered your shoulder to take a hit, and your crown of your helmet just happened to be there, so that's a personal foul. I'm hoping that's the same thing when it comes to this dumbass penalty of the launching. But
it's stupid. It's stupid. It has nothing to do with CTE or head injuries or any of that shit. Like, you can fully launch and hit somebody in,
Without
like the
using your helmet.
ribs or in the hip or on the knees or whatever. Like, nobody cares. It's a stupid rule.
yeah, I'm hoping that they use it in the right way, and they're because some penalties are more lenient than others. I'm hoping we keep it that way, to where some things they can just lay off a little bit. And not everything needs to be so scrutinized at all times where, we're worried about it, every little movement every player is making. Otherwise, we're going to throw a penalty because we can control the outcome of games.
Stupid.
I'm hoping that we get to a point where, we can make up these rules because they can be applied, at very opportune times when they choose for them to be applied. And that's what they're there for, is to say, we haven't called this penalty all season long, but all of a sudden here in the wild card game, we want, the Ravens to have the advantage here. So we're going to go ahead and throw this penalty now. But then you can go, but it's by the rule book. So everyone on Twitter, it's all crying and whining about, but it's by the rules. So
what about this?
That's what
dude?
It's coming down to.
What about this? Why don't we just make 12 new rules every fucking year for the next 15 years, and then you won't have a fucking game, and then nobody's going to watch your shit. Then, you think Roger Goodell is going to be happy at that point? I bet he would be.
But what are the billionaires
stupid
going to do with their meetings? They have to have meetings every year, sit their asses right there in a conference room, have a goddamn meeting about some bullshit. So what ideas did you want to bring to the table, Bill? We're to get up there and make up some bullshit. Oh, let's make a vote.
I think we should
give yourself a big waste of time.
What about this?
Make you look important.
10 years from now, we'll do away with tackling. It's you have to pull it's flag football in 10 years. What do you think about that?
Or they'll say you can only tackle by grabbing the hips and laying them down softly. You know what I mean? No more here, no more here. It's gonna be all from the hips. But don't touch the penis. No penis touch.
Dave kind of has it right, guys. Dave kind of has it right.
I like where your mind's at.
Hey, NFL. Your man Jen.
I do not want to see them touch the penis, man.
Dave's got it right.
Although by then, 10 years from now, you never know in this kind of world. So
yeah, I don't want to see him touch the
all
penis.
In the hips.
That should be banned. That should be banned.
Oh boy, yeah. That's the thing. Every year, the NFL has all these different rules they come out with.
Ban everything, man.
So here's
ban
the
handoff.
Like we talk bad about all these rules happening, but yet football is king, which we say it by far, right? Is it bad for football to be king like this because of the rules?
It's not bad for them to be king. I mean, personally, I've since I was born, I've been a football first guy. So that's just me. I've always enjoyed football the most of anything by far. But I have seen the pussification of football over the course of time, particularly the NFL. I'm not saying all football, but I mean, some things obviously were meant for the better. I mean, when I look at what kids are wearing these days and the pads and the helmets and all that, that's badass. I mean, I wish I had some of that equipment when I was playing. But the NFL particularly has really been the thing that's changed football itself, and the way that they're played. But, other leagues and so on, they follow suit. They try to implement the same things the NFL implements over the course of time. It's not bad, but it also is, when the sport, if it ever does drastically change to where it becomes a flag type league, other football organizations will slowly do the same. And then eventually the sport you see today will no longer be football, as we know it. I mean, it's just,
then nobody's
going
that
direction.
We're all going to be watching the NBA, which is good for me because that's my favorite.
But see, there's some people I know. Hold on,
in the right direction.
Hold on. I was going to say
they are, but you can't tackle people, so they don't give a shit. LeBron is the GOAT. That's all.
The NBA. No, we have a friend. Us trio has a friend who grew up a big NBA fan. He doesn't like the current NBA. I mean, he hates the fact that no one's driving in the paint anymore. Everyone's just jacking up threes all day. All that kind of stuff. Like, what happened to the physical game that we used to see in the 90s?
Let me tell you a fact right now. The people that are in Kansas City specifically that hate the NBA right now are the same fucking people that hated the NBA 20 years ago.
Yep.
It's the same shit. We don't have a team, so nobody cares. So, like, you can take that for what it's worth, but if we ever got a team, it might be a little bit different. I don't know what that looks like. I was 5 fucking years old when the Kansas City Kings left, and we haven't had an NBA team since. But if we ever get one, I think people would think differently. But right now, nobody gives a shit in Kansas City.
Well, it's just
particularly
like
about the NBA.
It's just like the NHL. The NHL draft's going on right now, but Kansas Cityans don't care because we don't have a team.
They don't give a shit.
We don't have a team.
No.
But if you gave them a team, they would care.
Yes, they would. I think they would.
There'd be more care in the world for sure.
And also, I'd just like to say NHL would be one of the sports. You know, if the NFL was to go too soft, the NHL is going to be on the rise.
Yes.
Yeah, they would.
As a sport.
Sure.
And it's a good, I mean, hockey's a badass.
Granted, their attendance is down, but they would be on the rise big time as things continue.
Yeah. So, anyways, was that the whole list, Tanner?
That's what I got
for
there.
the most part.
By the way, did you ever put that bet on the Royals?
I did not.
Okay, I'm glad. That's good.
No, I didn't. Well, I saw the Grand Slam. It was 4-0. I was not going to bet on the Royals at that point. Oh, what do we got, Reds? What do we got, Reds? Let's go, baby! Woo! Let's go.
Right. So while you guys are getting
you
nervous,
don't want to know. 14-0.
While you guys are getting nervous about baseball games, let's move on to the next topic, which is the most important topic of the show. I want to talk about Whataburger.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had some experiences over the last couple of weeks in terms of Whataburger. First of all, I want to preface what I'm going to say right now by saying that Patrick Mahomes is my favorite player in the league right now. Okay. And he was responsible for bringing Whataburger to Kansas City. And I appreciate him for that. And I love the fact that's his favorite hamburger. And, you know, I'm not going to argue with him on the bullshit. However, I've got a bone to pick with them because when we were down in Oklahoma, I think it was last week or 2 weeks. I don't know. I was drunk
2 weeks ago.
It could have been 100 years ago. I was so hammered. I don't even remember. But we were down there and I downloaded the
gonna
app.
Get pissed.
I downloaded the app on this fucker. Okay. And I wanted to give them another chance because I had some bad Whataburger experiences over my years. And I wanted to give them another chance. You know, all these guys that I fucking work with, they're like, oh, dude, just give them another chance. Just give them another chance. Okay, I'll do it. And so I did it. And I got the bacon avocado burger or whatever that fucking bullshit is. And it's great, man. It tasted fucking good. Now the meat, the meat tasted a little bit cheap, right? So that I was disappointed in the taste of the meat. It's probably rabbit or dog or fucking hippopotamus. I'm pretty sure it was a hippopotamus meat and they sold it as beef. So that pissed me off.
Oh boy.
But it actually tasted
You're
pretty
getting
good.
pissed.
But I was happy with my experience. And then I thought about Patrick Mahomes. I was like, dude, he brought this here just for me. He brought this fucking restaurant to Kansas City just for me. And so I fucking love it. But I download the app. They're telling me I'm going to get a free Whataburger on my next visit. And guess what? I went to that fucking restaurant there now. No. You have to buy a large order of fries and you have to buy a large drink. We're not going to give you that shit for free. And it's only a regular Whataburger, which for the record, it tasted like shit. My daughter couldn't even get that down. I cut it in half. I gave the other half to my daughter. She couldn't finish it. Right? She's getting ready to turn 6. She's 5 years old. My daughter couldn't finish that shit. That's how fucking bad that fucking burger was. I'm convinced it's fucking rabbit or dog or hippopotamus meat. Now they dress it up well. I will give them full credit. Okay. Whatever they put, the toppings, the fucking ketchup, pickles, all this fucking avocado, sourdough, whatever you want to put on there. I will give them full credit. They dress it up right and they make it taste great. But if you just taste the meat, which I dare any of you guys listening to this show right now, I dare you to strip everything and just taste the meat. It's a fucking hippopotamus or an aardvark.
What?
It could be an aardvark or an armadillo. Whatever the meat is, it's not
Hold
fucking
on.
beef. It's bullshit.
Hold on.
And I'm pissed.
Hold on.
I'm fucking pissed because they told me that I was going to get free armadillo meat. And no, I didn't get free armadillo. I had to buy an order of
French
fries
fries.
and a piece of shit large drink. It's bullshit.
Can you go back? I need you to go back steps.
Hold on.
I need
No,
I need
hold
you
on.
to
I'm not
describe
going
to
back
me-
any steps.
Hold on.
It tastes like a piece of shit.
No,
Hold
no,
it.
I don't care about that. I want to know exactly your process of
I would-
getting that free burger.
I would rather
What
have a
did you
bird.
do
I
to
would
get that
rather
free burger?
have a bird fly by in the sky and take a shit
Okay.
in my fucking
No,
mouth.
here's the deal.
Than eat that
Th-
bullshit
there's-
ever again for the rest of my life.
I don't care if it's raccoon.
End of
I'm eating
story.
Whataburger.
Point blank. Now you can talk,
So-
you piece of shit.
So he downloaded the app.
Okay, so
The
you
app
got the app,
supposedly gives you
It's
a
free.
free
It's free.
Whataburger, right?
Okay. Yes, correct.
Has a QR code when you
Bullshit.
download it, right? And they
I
scan
did do
it.
the QR
Bullshit.
code.
You get a
They're a bunch
QR
of
code.
liars.
I didn't do it.
When you do the thing, you QR code. Did they scan it?
Whatever you find goes in your burger.
Fuck no, they're a bunch of liars, dude. They
Okay,
lied
no,
to me
no,
the
no,
whole
no.
fucking time.
So how did you go about getting a free burger off the app? Like, what did you do on the app, and then what did you do at the place?
So it told me on the app that I get a free burger. I
Okay.
took it into the store. I did not go through the drive-through. I walked up there. I handed my fucking phone to the cashier, and they said, "Oh yeah. You get a free burger." And then she billed me for a large fries and a large drink, and I got pissed off like you wouldn't fucking believe.
So you just handed it to him, and then got robbed.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't hand it to him. I just showed him.
You
it
got
was a
robbed.
QR. I showed him the QR code.
Oh,
She scanned the
wait,
fucking
was
QR
that off
code.
your survey you did?
No, it wasn't a fucking survey.
You did a survey in Oklahoma.
No, I didn't do that shit.
Yes, you did, and you're
No,
like,
I
"Oh,
didn't
this is
do that
bullshit. I don't get my free burger yet."
This is not about.
Is it? Wait,
So
Ridiculous.
I want to make one thing. I want to make one thing clear. It's not about the employees. The employee in the restaurant did everything right. There's a glitch in terms of them wanting to charge me money so
Right.
that I can ingest a piece of rabbit or hippopotamus meat.
Grandpa,
I
put your,
don't want to eat
put
that
your
shit.
app in a pickup mode. Put your card in or Apple Pay it, and pick it up when they say when you go.
I was
going
gonna say they did have an option for pickup.
Dude,
I
you just
had-
called me grandpa and you're like 15 years older than me.
Grandpa, please use technology.
I did use technology and they
So Scott says that you did the survey, and that was the problem.
He was too drunk to remember.
no, you guys are full of shit. Man.
Okay.
I never did the fucking survey.
Yes. See, thank you, Tufel.
Tufel says he can go right now.
I tested
yeah.
it out last night because I wanted to see. I didn't go get it, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna
I'm
find
just
my
saying.
app and see. I had no issue.
We
It
talk
said
about
ready to go.
sports. We talk about sports, guys. If you could have one game for the rest of your life, who are you going to pick to be on that team? It's fucking Jordan. And I gave Whataburger that one chance for the rest of my life. I'll never set foot in that fucking restaurant for the rest of my life, dude, because they failed. It was a fucking
Now-
failure. The burger tasted like shit. They ripped me off. They made me pay for something that was free.
I
So
will- I
fix
will
your
say-
fucking app.
I have a problem currently with the way Kansas City treats Whataburger because, I mean, we're
Well,
all
it's new to us.
no. That's the thing.
Oh, it's
people
new.
people
Oh,
need
It's new to
to
us.
get over it a little bit. I
The
mean,
people
it's,
that don't go
it's a
down
little
south,
excessive at the moment because look, we were down in Oklahoma, went to Whataburger down in Oklahoma,
still think it's
right?
confusing when
We went
talk.
there. We were the old Tanner, Jason. We were the only goddamn people in that restaurant at Whataburger in Oklahoma. Only
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're over it. They don't give a damn. It's like Jack in the Box
But
for
it's
them.
been there
They don't
for
care.
like what 20 years.
So,
Sure,
okay.
but that's my point.
It's
Is
been
that
here
Kansas
less
City?
a year.
I was up in KCK by Legends this past weekend. Drove by the Whataburger. The
That's your
cars
first
are
mistake.
the cars are wrapped around the goddamn parking lot.
Yep.
It's 11:30. I'm like, or actually it was 2, but I was just like, what the freaking hell is
Jack
going
in the
on?
Box was like that
Why?
too.
It's stupid.
It was
Yes,
just like
people
that.
need to get
I'm
over it a little
glad.
bit.
I'm glad that you brought that up because back in 2010, nobody fucking remembers it in Kansas City. We went through the same exact bullshit back then.
I'm just
Wrap
saying
the line.
it needs to calm
Yeah,
down a little
Jack
bit.
in the Box.
2 years later, it'll die.
Jack in the Box.
So-
You know the only difference is? I want to go to Jack in the Box right now. It's fucking 13 years later. I want to go there and shove that stuff up my ass. I'm never going to Whataburger ever again.
Oh man.
And I love Patrick Mahomes. I love the guy. I'm glad he wanted to bring this shit over here. I'm never going to eat that shit ever again. Jack in the Box is better. In-N-Out Burger is better. Fill in the
Yeah,
blank
no,
is better.
I agree.
Five Guys,
In-N-Out is better.
Burger King.
I agree with that.
Fucking McDonald's is better than that stupid bullshit. Like, why would
Well,
you?
no,
Why would you ever eat
hold on.
that shit? Mine,
Twofold thinks you're
Dude.
confusing it with McDonald's right now.
my daughter loves everything. My daughter loves everything fast food. She couldn't finish that fucking thing, right? You know why?
Click on this comment.
Because it's rabbit meat. It's fucking hippopotamus meat. It's aardvark and armadillo meat. It's dog meat. And I don't want to eat that shit for the rest of my life. If I order a fucking hamburger, I want beef. Okay. Or if I want a fucking chicken sandwich, give me that fucking chicken sandwich. I do not want aardvark. I do not want armadillo. I don't want rabbit. I don't want fucking hippopotamus. I don't want lizard meat. And by gosh, I do not want frog. Can I break out the frog? You know, we have
frog legs.
You know, I Mike, you know this about me. I have a lot of Asian friends in my life. You know, over in the Asian countries, they eat a lot of frog meat.
Yeah. I
would rather have frog meat and eat frog's legs than eat that fucking shit that I had at Whataburger the other day. Okay. You want to throw another? You want dinosaur meat? I'd rather eat dinosaur meat than that shit. It's not beef. I'm telling you this right the fuck now. They do not serve beef.
Okay. Take the liquor away.
Shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Hey man, if Mahomes invites me to his house, I will jam 10 of those burgers up my ass. I'll eat it the rest of my life. If he just gives me one autograph, if Mahomes would give me one autograph, I will eat that shit every day for the rest of my life because that's how much I love that fucking player.
All right, guys. So
amazing player.
One last quick topic. We'll just say this on our way out the door here. Guys, I don't know if you saw, but my thing will load here. There we go. Pepsi has made their own ketchup for the ballpark. Starting on July 4th, you can get Pepsi ketchup for your hot dog, for your hamburger.
I like the sound of that.
I don't at all. Now, I want to know from you guys here, what would you mix in with ketchup or maybe mix in with mustard?
What?
Like what kind of drink? What else would you mix in?
A drink to mix with ketchup or mustard?
Yeah, would you mix in whiskey?
I'll be honest.
Would you mix in rum?
I love both of these condiments equally, just about. Mustard has 0 calories. I'm a big fan of that factor. Ketchup, though, is just delicious. I mean, I like to combine them both for sure. What would I mix? I have to mix a drink in there?
Yeah, drink.
Why would I mix a drink and
if you say whiskey, I'm gonna kick your ass right now.
Okay,
do not say whiskey. That's gonna taste
here's
like
what I'll
shit.
do. I'll do pickle juice and mustard. Get a real nasty bitch for you. How about that, Tanner? That's my answer. Pickle juice and mustard.
Pickle juice and mustard.
That's what I'm going with. Yeah, pickle juice and mustard.
I want to be that bad.
So I'm gonna say vodka because you're not gonna be able to taste it anyway. So you're gonna be able to get away with that.
Pepsi chup.
And then I will say tequila.
Oh.
I will say tequila because once you get drunk, you're not going to give a shit what it tastes like anyway.
Now, would you consider, so obviously there's tomato involved here with the ketchup. So would that make vodka like a Bloody Mary type of thing make sense to you guys? I mean, because obviously
I would still throw tequila and ketchup. That'd be my
tequila and ketchup.
How about red wine?
That sounds
can we do red wine on that shit?
Whatever you want.
I'd do red wine.
That sounds pretty nasty, man. Wait, whose idea was this?
This was Pepsi and the MLB.
Pepsi wants to combine
MLB wants to, and Heinz partnered up for a one-day event.
MLB
Pepsi
wants to do a lot of things because their fucking revenue is going down. So let them do whatever the hell they want.
Now, hold on. Did you guys ever, real quick before we wrap it up here, but that burger or the whatever barbecue sandwich they had at Kaufman, they had Reese's peanut butter cups on the barbecue sandwich a couple years ago. Did you guys ever eat one of those?
No.
Would you?
No.
I would. I never ate one, but I would.
No.
Oh yeah, chocolate and brisket and barbecue sauce.
I'll tell you what,
I would do that all day.
Peanut butter
all day.
I'm not doing that shit.
I'm not doing that.
I will tell you.
Oh, I'd love that.
I'll tell you something right now. There are a couple of things. Actually,
cherry cola mixed with ketchup.
There are two
bad.
things that I would rather do in my whole life than to eat that shit. And I'm not allowed to say it on the show.
All right.
Okay.
Not allowed to say it.
Ladies,
I would rather do that than eat that bullshit.
Ladies and gentlemen, no show next week. Enjoy your
We
4th of July.
We are taking a week off. Now hold on, Tanner. Don't get him too discouraged
It's a
because
surprise.
I do want to say
It's
that-
a surprise, dude.
Well, I just want to say we've been running this thing for a long time now. It's been 3 goddamn years. We're in the middle of nothing, nowhere of sports right now. So what we're gonna do, starting in July, come back, hit it hard. Fantasy football will be kicking it off as the number 1 topic that we're gonna be yapping about here for a while, leading up to all your drafts and so on, like usual. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna celebrate 4th of July. Probably drink lots of tequila, whiskey, whatever the hell you guys are into. We're probably not going to be suited to do a show next Wednesday, so we'll do our first. Is this our first week off?
Our first week off.
First week off, and
Actually, second week off.
Second week off.
3 years.
But if there was ever a time to do it,
this is the time.
If there was ever time to do it, this is the time. So we're going to take a week off next week, come back the week after, and it's going to be all the fantasy you can imagine up in your ass, and whatever you're into, we're going to be shoving it, just like Jason shoves burgers up his ass. So,
armadillo meat, whatever it is.
that's what our plan is.
Aardvark.
So anyways, I'm looking forward to gearing up for football season, training camp, fantasy, Chiefs, everything that comes along with it, because we're right around the corner. But I think we're gonna enjoy our week off to load up again, you guys.
We'll catch you.
I'm gonna say this, man.
Training camp starts.
I'm gonna say this. There's a lot of disappointed people out there, and I feel your pain that we're not going to have a show next week. And so I will just tell you right now, there could be a surprise.
Could be
Wednesday.
Oh, Tanner, we did get an email.
A surprise
today from from someone.
No, we're not talking about it. Right.
Oh, we're not talking.
No,
about
we're
it?
not talking about it.
Oh, wait,
I'm not botching that yet. Not botching that yet.
We got a special email in Tanner's folder that we cannot talk about.
We're not talking.
But I would love to throw some flames on that bitch.
Yes, but we're not going to yet. So
tune in next Wednesday.
Come on, you know how I am, Tanner. I like to get a little aggressive every once in a while.
Not yet. Not yet.
I want to bury him.
I don't
Bury
give
him.
you permission yet.
We
shovel.
Time's
Bury
coming,
him.
but not yet.
Well, they deserve it. They deserve to get mud holes stomped up their ass.
The bottom line is we are going to take the week off next week, guys, and it's going to be the best fucking Wednesday that you've ever had.
Lord,
and I'm just going to throw it out there, man. It's a surprise, but I can't tell you what it is. It's on the down low.
Lord help me, guys. Like, subscribe, follow. We'll catch you. Have a great 4th of July. Be safe out there. Come back. Not like Jason Pierre-Paul, and we'll catch you guys in a couple weeks.
That's right.
See you guys.
Missing those fingers. See ya.